Rebecca Beasley and I are just having a really good cackle because all things, our perseverance has come out in trying to get technology to work tonight. So well done you, Rebecca. Oh, look, and this is what leadership at the moment is all about. It's all about pivoting in disruption. So we did have some disruption. And look, it's my absolute pleasure tonight to introduce to you Rebecca Beasley, who is an educator of excellence. And I'm not telling any fibs there. Now, Rebecca has a really strong history of achievement and lifelong learning. And she's going to tell us a bit more about that. One of the things that Rebecca has done has set up her own education consultancy. So a leader within her own right, within her career, and now with her passion to work with others, students, teachers, and parents. So, the backbone of our community. So welcome, Rebecca. And it's so good to have you tonight.
It's great to be here.
I was only thinking that if I have an imaginary glass here, and I thought I probably could have had a little sip after all that. So we'll have one afterwards.
That's right.
Now, Thrive Studio has been a new initiative of mine because of coronavirus and the disruption that's been happening. And when I look around, every one of us has been affected in some way or another. And I don't want to escalate anyone's feeling of being of grief or of the immense change that we're under, because we are all juggling and adapting. And that's why Thrive Studio talks about how we manage to still keep some equilibrium, even though we feel the pressure and the absolute change that's happening to us. And our new normal is perhaps going to change again as we go towards the end of the year, and it perhaps will change every now and then as an advent. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what makes your heart sing, Rebecca, in the work that you do.
I think, in a nutshell, what makes my heart sing is education, and it has been since I can remember. As a little girl, I'm one of those stories of, the child playing teachers. And it wasn't until I got to an age-old tale for teachers. It wasn't until I hit high school, and I was in an international school, and it was one of the top international schools in the world at the time. And our teachers were amazing. The degrees coming out of their ears. I had doctors teaching me, and the culture of the school was just completely immersed in learning. So from a consumer point of view, that's where I fell in love with learning. I was living in a third world country at the time, or a developing country at the time, and it was very, very clear to me the fact that education provided choices, and things could be taken away from you, but your education is something that is yours and you have, and no one can remove that from you. And I feel like the way I was raised by my parents, and the schools that I attended in primary school, which were all Catholic schools, that whole notion of serving and being of service to others, the two married really nicely together. And so I finished high school. My heart was set on teaching, so I did my undergraduate, and I went into teaching, then need to know more, went back, got a degree in special education, went back, need to know more, went back, got qualifications in gifted education, and later educational leadership. And what that's afforded me is the opportunity to do things like teach a 5-year-old how to read, which is amazing, and also to work with children with special needs and have them go through those 80 repetitions until they get that thing and watch their face light up, to be able to work with the gifted learner and finally pitch something to that point where you've hit that zone of proximal development and they have that aha moment and their face lights up. I've had the honor of training teachers and watching them get enthusiastic and engaged. And, you know, even sitting at barbecues, talking with friends and having them ask questions and being able to talk about that. I could honestly talk about education until I was blue in the face. I love it. I really, really love it.
And,
so
and
being
Rebecca,
able to help people through that makes my
and
heart.
it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and who better to have on this week, but someone who is as passionate as you are. But it's not just your passion that comes through. You've got the core values that really sing to your heart, and so this time of the coronavirus has really caused some disruption. And I would be surprised if it hasn't made you think of different ways or possible ways of educating if things don't go back to the way we've always known.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So I at the end of last year, I was getting to the end of my current degree, my degree, and I was thinking, well, I'll need to do something else because I bore very easily, and so I started doing a lot of training online.
Yep.
The online learning opportunities at the moment, particularly for entrepreneurs, has been booming for quite some time.
Yep.
That really interested me. The notion of beginning something myself really interested me, and the notion of being able to tap into all those things I spoke about before, working with kids, working with teachers, working with parents, and having some autonomy around that. Really excited me. So I sort of embarked on that so I could step into a place. I thought I was going in one direction, and then COVID came in stage right. And so whilst I've been doing all this learning, I've been pulling everything together in the background, and I went, actually, I need to serve the parents first at the moment. So I'm a little fledgling, really, in the grand scheme of things. So this is all starting up, and I'm really excited about it. But yes, starting with podcasts that are going to be directed at helping parents. I've got a temporary homeschooler journal that I'm about to launch, hopefully this weekend. It's out with the Brains Trust, who are all sorting it out for me at the moment, going, yes, this works, no, this doesn't. I know it works for me, but I want to know that it works for others. Yeah. And then so I'll get that all started, and then I will step into the space where I was beginning, which is teacher wellbeing. So I have a course around wellbeing and goal setting starting, and a book that is 3/4 done that will complement that. So fingers crossed, in the next couple of months, all those things will be up and moving and running. Yeah.
So that sounds amazing, and well done you, because it links in with your whole life of lifelong learning and that passion to share it with others. Now, what I'm going to ask you though is that in all this disruption and doing a whole lot of work online, not necessarily with people where you get your energy from the body language, the intonation, perhaps the movement and the excitement that sometimes doesn't come across in online. Tell me, what is it that helps you keep sustained in what you do? Because this is all high energy work, right? And you're very energized and passionate about what you do. So there's got to be a place where Rebecca goes, or something that she does regularly, that's a habit, that helps her pivot, helps her regroup, helps her. So tell us a bit about that. Everyone would be really interested in what you do.
So I'm part of the 5 a.m. club, and first thing I do every morning without fail is I meditate. I've gone through the process of working with high performance coaches over the last 24 months, and they kept saying, Rebecca, you've got to meditate, you've got to meditate, you've got to meditate. And I tried, and it really wasn't working for me, if I'm honest.
That's okay.
So I was like, you know what, I need to actually invest quite a bit of time and energy into finding what's right for me. So I found one that was right for me. It's with Emily Fletcher, and she explains the brain science behind it and the reasoning behind it. And I needed that. I needed that. I needed it to not rest around like a monastic type meditation, particularly as I am a practicing Catholic, and I needed something that was going to enable me to balance that out as well. And this woman is amazing, and it helps me sleep. It helps me remain calm.
Yep.
It helps me keep anxiety levels at bay. So that's the first thing I do. I journal every morning. I go through my day. Clarity is really, really important. When you feel like your head's all over the place and you don't know where you're heading, or when I don't know where I'm heading, that doesn't help me with my well-being. So for me, remaining grounded during this big time is strongly rests in having established routines, because if in yourself you know that you can come back to something that is the same, that gives you that security amongst the chaos. So that's how I start my day.
Well, and that is a regular habit. It's perseverance, it's belief, and you know what the rewards are. You can talk about what the rewards are, the benefits of that. And it's really important. And often they're the first things that fall off when people are under immense stress. And I really do feel for a lot of people who have lost whole businesses, who've lost their wage, who have been living with 4 or 5 kids in a house for the last 2 months, and relationships are quite fractious. So we can either see the turmoil or the disruption as a gift or a burden. And I think mindset goes with that. Carol Dweck's work on mindset is really important and goes very nicely with the neuroscience around meditation. And around the other thing we have to add in there is also resilience, because it all fits in together. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you were to give the world some advice at the moment, what do you think you might say?
Oh, wow. I think one really, really important thing to make sure of is, amongst the chaos, find the things that are working for you, because this has thrown things out for everyone to varying degrees. For me personally, I found the notion that I was being told by the media to remain at home, to not interact, to make sure I'm doing all these things to remain safe and well. Yet, on the other hand, being told that I had to go back into my workplace and that I was fine and that was all safe. I had to reconcile with that. So I didn't want to go through that process feeling jaded. It's really, really important to me that when I'm at work and I've got little people around me, that that we give them life, and we work with, you know, the honor of the fact that we get to walk through this journey with them, and we are the people who are there to keep them safe 6 hours a day. So I had to be able to walk onto campus being happy with that. So I reconciled with the fact that I would be exposed, that realistically people across Australia are going to need to be exposed for the most part. So the best thing I could do was make sure my stress levels were down, hence continuing with meditation, make sure my nutrition was good, my supplementation was good in regards to my immune system. I was getting enough sleep so that when I entered that space, my immune system was the strongest it possibly could be. So I think making sure you're doing the things that you can to control, and then also remembering the things that are the tiny little blessings that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yep.
I have I have 3 children. One of them's only 9 and the other 2 are adult. Well, by definition, they're adults. They're 20 and 21. So it's, they're still growing, and they still don't live at home as many children do in Australia at that age, particularly in Sydney. And despite the fact they live at home, they're rarely at home for dinner because one's at film school, one's running a production company and working. And so we're this great big roundabout. I've had them at home for dinner for nearly 2 months now.
Blessing.
It's a blessing and I love it. So find the little things that are working. Because we've all got the bizarre things that are, happening that make life harder. Yeah. But find those things and make sure you're keeping yourself well. That would be my advice to the world.
Well, it rings true, Rebecca, with some of the latest research on gratitude and gratitude practices during the day. And they're saying not just, say, gratitude practices spread over a week, say one a day, something out of that you do for somebody else and you don't look for any return. They're actually saying 5 things a day. And they can be as small as looking at somebody in the eyes and saying, would you like a cup of tea? Maybe it's something that you don't usually do. It could be as much as saying, let's have 5 minutes together. I want you to do this. It could be the knock on the door, the neighbour's door next door with a plate of afternoon tea. It could be as simple as that. Or it could be catching up with someone that you haven't spoken to. So one of the things that's been life-giving for me, being here all the time, has been making sure that I contact people that I haven't spoken to for a while and just said, hi, how you doing? And that's been as life, and that happens quite regularly. So thanks for all those tips. And our listeners, I'm sure, have a number of those things already in place. And I love what you said about what you can control. I think that's the key I'm finding in how we pivot or how we adapt is you actually have to let go of what you've got no control over. It's wasted energy, wasted worry. We don't have time for that. And to remain present and do the best we can in our situations, we only worry about the things we've got control over or put our energy into that. So I appreciate that. Now, Rebecca, if people are interested in contacting you, let's give you a free ad. What would be the best way to contact you?
So probably the easiest way to find me is if you go into your search bar on the internet and if you type in @Rebecca with a capital R, REBCCA, B, capital B for Besly, BESLY, capital C for connect, and then connect. So @Rebecca Besly Connect, and my link tree will come up. And then you can choose your social platform of preference. So you can go to Instagram, you can go to Facebook, you can go to the website, Pinterest.
That's it. Everyone can find you.
And once the podcast is up and running, and the podcast will have an accompanying YouTube channel. So once they're up and running, I'll pop them on there as well. But basically, @Rebecca Besly Connect, capitals for each new word, and you'll be able to find all my connect points through there.
Beautiful. Look, I've enjoyed our conversation tonight. I'm glad we persevered and we've pivoted and adapted to our conversation. Listeners, if you'd like to know more about what I do, Carrie Benedette, Leadership Coach, you can find me on all socials, LinkedIn, all the way through to Instagram, YouTube. We do the lot, of course, as most people do. The reason I really wanted to do this was to seek out ordinary people doing extraordinary things. You and I consider us pretty ordinary guys and gals doing what we love. And when you add the passion and the commitment and a sense of responsibility for the future, then you get the extraordinary. You get the butterfly wings that go across the globe, reaching out also to all of our teachers, educators around the world who have been frontline in the COVID situation, our pandemic that we're all experiencing. But just know here in Australia, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and you are totally appreciated. Some of the recent memes and jokes and are just saying we will never disregard what a teacher does ever again after this. So it is an interesting time for all of us, but we have a red hot opportunity, a red hot shot to pick up some change that we think is going to be beneficial, toss away what's not working, and create a brand new world for ourselves. So especially for our leadership. So I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, Terry.
Once again, take care of your good selves. I'll see you next Tuesday, 12:30 for Thrive Studio with a little bit of groove. Till then, bye. Thanks, Rebecca.
Bye. Thanks, Terry.